Okay, today we're going to talk about some of my latest endeavors for the spring bee season. About a 50% kill on bees this year, and of that 50% that died, probably 3 to 4 of the hives that died had at least one full medium of honey in them. So it's not for lack of food, and I think most of these hives went into the winter strong. So I've come up with the idea of taking 4 2-story deep nooks, double story, so that in other words you'd have 4, it's a 5-frame nook, so 5 deep frames in each story, so that'd be a total of 10 frames with a feeder on top. Now you can see those 4 in the distance there. I just finished making them. I'll give you some close-ups so you'll see more detail. And the actual cut pattern and design for the most part was taken from BeeSource, that's BeeSource.com, and they give you the cut pattern, and I use 2 sheets of 15-30 seconds BC plywood, good on one side, not so good on the other. And then I painted it with a Behr from Home Depot, that's B-E-H-R. It's a great paint. It has a primer and paint in one coat, and it's called Elastomeric Masonry Stucco and Brick Paint. I'll give you the particulars on that in a minute. But if you look in the distance there, you can't tell, but I'll show you close up later. There is 2 stories for each nook. Each nook body holds 5 frames, and then I made a feeder patterned after the Fat Bee Man, and there is a 16, let's see what it is. It's a 19-page it looks like that. Okay, you don't find it on his website, but these are all the patterns for 10-frame, 8-frame, and I think it's 5-frame nook for the no-drown feeder. And it is actually found on www.dixie, that's D-I-X-I-E-B-B-E-E supply.com. All one word run together, DixieBeeSupply.com. And they give all the measurements written right on the graphics, so it's pretty easy to follow. What I did not do is I did not follow it to the letter. I made some changes for myself, and I'll show you those in a minute. And then the other thing is I'll point to it with the camera, sort of, and rotate it over here. You see that stack of light green supers. Those are 2 deep and 2 medium, plus a feeder on top, plus an outer cover, a bottom cover, a inner cover which is clear, and an entrance closer that you don't see there that's on the top, and a mite board that slides in from the back on the bottom board, and that bottom board is also got a stainless steel screen in it. So that particular outfit is called the Bee Box, and it is made in Finland, and it actually can be purchased here in the U.S. from Modern Beekeeping USA. That's modernbeekeepingusa.com. I'm not sure, but I think they're out of Pennsylvania. But whatever, they're here in the States, and it sure beats paying their freight rather than the freight from Finland, obviously. And then over here, of course, in that brown cardboard box, I just got a shipment from Man, which includes some plastic frames and bee jacket with veil, which is a lighter version, and both of those items were on sale. And then in the middle there, down that strip where behind the paint can that you see, is also the double mating Nuc, which has 3 frames and a tank and a divider, a tank for each side. So I'll give you a close-up of all these items and give you an idea how they look close up. So here's the man order that I got today, and this is a nice bee jacket. I know you can't see it very well, but it's made extremely well. It has the rings around the end of the zipper that you pull closed. This is a medium. It's for my wife. I wear a large. It's got the elastic on the bottom. It's got the elastic on the cuffs, and it also has got the thumb loops that you stick around your thumb to keep your sleeve from riding out when you pull your gloves on. So, and then you have the plastic frames. These are all wax coated, and they look basically like that. They have a metal tab in this area right here, which makes them stronger than most plastic frames. So, that's that. Now here's another thing I ordered from man last year, and I ordered it late, and I actually didn't put it to work. But this is a 3-frame double mating Nuc, and you see the little frames here. Again, wax coated plastic foundation. You have a tank here for this side and a tank over here for this side. Okay. Again, I painted it with this Behr. Here it is here. Behr, B-E-H-R, premium elastomeric masonry, stucco, and brick paint. Now this particular paint is in a base 068 white, crystal white, MS39 I guess it is, base color. But as you see, this is green. It's kind of a light green, and it looks like it's got a label on it. It says under EL there's 4, and then under RL there's 8, and under TL there's 4. So those are the color combinations that put in to make this from a white to that color green that you see on this, on all the Nucs, and this hive from Finland. Okay, now a 15-32 inch sheet of 4x8 foot plywood will, 2 of those will give you enough to make 8, 4 each per sheet of plywood, a total of 8 Nucs, and these are 5-frame Nucs. I wanted to do something different than what Nucs are normally intended, and these are basically going to take a double story 5-frame Nuc through the winter, and I'll show you that the bottom Nuc, which is this one here, has 2 screened bottom circular screens opening for ventilation. You can see that there. Okay. The only other thing that's different on this is if you look at it from the side, I'll give you the long ways, but I'll put it up here and let you see. There's an extra piece of wood on the side here and over here, okay, and that allows you to set this second story on top with it sliding in here and holding it in place in a nice tight fit. And what I did is right here in this crack between the outside of the Nuc and the 2.5 inch piece of wood that I put on here, plywood, I put a 1/4 inch piece of, you could probably use 1/2 inch too, but a 1/4 inch piece of sticky on both sides weather stripping to have this piece of wood stand off rather than being flush with the outside of the Nuc. so it would give enough room for this box to slide in snugly. That'll keep the rain out of it when it slides down here, but it's not really going to be in the outside for me. This is going to be in an insulated box for winter with an onboard heater, and I'll add that as I develop it to this particular unit here, so you can see how I take these through the winter. There's also enough wood to make a lid here for the combination here, and also an initial bottom board here, which can go over this one here that doesn't have a bottom board, since it's actually made to fit on this one. So I can actually take this and put it over here on this bottom board like that, and I'll have a complete nook too. So before I use it in the winter as a double story, I can use it during the summer as 8 instead of 4, but 8 single story hives and 5-frame nooks. So here one has the fixed bottom. This does not have a bottom, but it has a bottom board here. Pardon me with the camera. I have to do it all while I'm holding it for the close-ups. So there. If you look real close, you can see that it's, what I did is I actually put GE Celastic seal, like you use in a bathtub, and then I just squished it down in that, and it holds it like never going to get it off of there. So little tricks of the trade to make it easier. But if you look at the ladder that's in the diagrams of the Fat Bee Man, this is a little slicker, a little cleaner, a few less moving parts. You don't have to put the wood over the top here to hold anything in place. And you just use melted glue gun glue to hold this where there's no staples, because that's a thin piece of wood. That, by the way, is a piece of wood that I bought at it was about a 4-foot piece that I bought at Lowe's just for that purpose, because it came out to be kind of thin and an odd size. So, and then you notice I put screws in the top here. I put screws. I did not put nails, and I did not nail this. I thought it's nice to be able to put the liquid container here. Now here's the trick on the liquid container. I looked several places for it and you can buy a shoe box at Walmart, and this is called, I'll get it real close here, Sterilite, S-T-E-R-I-L-I-T-E, and this holds, I wish this would focus better, but anyways, it holds 6 quarts or 5.7 liters. And you've noticed how I had to cut that top down, because I'll show you. This goes in here like this. Okay. This is a shoe box. It comes with a lid. The lids I don't use, for 96 cents or whatever it was, 98 cents. And then it goes there, and see this piece of wood underneath, these two pieces here have to fit flush with the wood underneath, and to do that you have to recess that, take that plastic off of there like I showed you. I'll take it off so you can see it again. See the cut here? There's the cut down. It has to drop below this piece here, and the corner over here, it has to stay high, because you don't want any bees popping out of there. See? Okay, it looks like that. So that's what it looks like. And I got tired of looking at some of those others, because I don't like going out to the hive, particularly when it's cold, and just have to continually put a bunch of liquid in there. Another thing you might want to know about this elastomeric paint a bear makes, it's a fungicide and germicide, miticide, whatever. It takes care of all the bugs, so and mold. So you should have very little of that, which is sometimes an issue when you have a feeder. And the idea of being able to unscrew this, pop this off, and just take this whole thing out and scrub it is a good idea, because you can always use a little bleach on it and kill those things too if they happen to exist there. If you're going to paint something like a tank and a foam high body or something like you have over here in this double mating nook, or maybe over in this one, the issue becomes to put 2 or 3 coats of this elastomeric paint on it, because it makes it waterproof, and then you don't have the issue, or shouldn't have as much of an issue, with mold growing and having to keep messing with that over time, because these boxes should last a good long time if you take care of them, keep a good coat of paint on them, that sort of thing. So that's the end of that issue. We'll go to the next item. So there are the 4 Nucs, 2-story with a feeder on top. The only difference is I have the lid for each one of them included in the height, which wouldn't be if the feeder was on. You'd have that lid off. And this extra board you see on the side here, and the 2 there are the bottom boards that I explained earlier if you wanted to use the open bottom nook as a complete nook when you're using them separately. Now, you've seen this on the web if you've looked at nooks at all. This is called a bee brief, okay, just to give you an idea of its length. I use a tape measure on here. It's 24 inches handle to handle, and it is 13 inches high. And so you have handles here, there's 2, 3, and 1 on each end, and that's the same on the other side. The whole thing screws together. I did not put it together, it came packaged that way. You have a weather lid, okay, which is the one you see here, okay. There are 2 little plugs, plastic plugs here, and then you have the hole in the lid, see, and that fits over the plug and fits in place and makes it waterproof. Take this out, you have a screen on the inside below that with a little bit of a 3/4 inch rise here, so you can actually leave this cover up cocked if you want, rather than you turn it around the right way. You can pull it forward and just leave it loose instead of having it on those indents there, and then they can get air through here. The entrance way, I'll take this lid off so you can see. You see, this is the front. You don't see, let me show you here, I'll show you on the end. You don't see the lid, I mean the entrance. So to see, partly for the movement of the camera, but I want you to get the effect here. The lid is right here, so you have to cock this up, see, like that. If I'm going to push the lid up, now I'm going to bring this box down so you can see where the opening is, okay? So there's the open, but when it's in the closed position rather than the cocked position, it covers the opening, you know, if you want to carry things without bees escaping. But there's plenty of ventilation, so you don't have to worry about that. Now this does not hold 5 frames, this holds 4 frames, so I'll let you see the inside. And see, that tree you see beyond the arbor is a sweet cherry. Kind of a yellowish red. It's real pretty and very delicious. And like I said, there's my lilac tree. This is the deck over here for my Walmart special pool. One of those 10-foot circular pools. It's about, I don't know, 3.5 feet deep, something like that. It's a nice cool off in the summertime. This is a canopy over for the gazebo. I mean the frame for the gazebo canopy, which isn't up yet. And then of course across the back of the house you see that's another shade device that rolls out. Okay, so now you have an idea what the old backyard looks like. A lot of boxes. I usually have about 10 hives standing, maybe 12 at the most. Down to about half that now, so won't take too long to pop those back up to 10, and then they'll be ready probably come 1st of May with a full bunch of bees in them. But everything's now starting to wake up for spring, just now starting anyways. The usual plants you see and trees you see leafing out. Weeping willows are out. They're yellowish, like a yellowish green color. Roses are starting to burst some of their buds. You can see some of the hyacinths and stuff like that. So it's, you know, in another 4 weeks it'll be amazing the difference. But anyways, there's my goldwing. I didn't have that, I don't think, in the video before or in the movie, but it's for sale. It's running for, we got up for sale for around $9,900. It is a pristine unit in great shape, beautiful paint. It's got a Voyager trike package on it. It's an add-on, and that alone is around $4,000. So. If you subtract that from the bike, that tells you what the bike's worth. So that's a bargain. So. But anyways, finally got those little turkeys done, and I'm glad I did. What I really like, though, is if you look at the plans for the drownless feeder, their feeding area is like not even half of this thing here. This whole shoebox here, which is a pretty sturdy container, holds a lot more. You don't have to fill it up all the way. You know, you can fill it up halfway, but you're still going to have more in it than you did on the other little thing they're showing in the one that's in the picture. I like to try to make mine a little bit more sensible and time saving, because I'm getting up in years and I don't have time to go flitting around with these things, you know, every few days to feed them, because when bees are taking in a lot of syrup, they can drain that thing in a big hurry. The other thing is, this is way down there, close to the very bottom of this plastic. That's why I made this removable with the 2 screws here. So this would fit very low, so when the syrup gets low, they'll still be able to get it with their tongues, and what little they won't matter. But it'll also be safer for them so they don't drown. They have a wooden back to crawl down, and they have the screen here that they can also use to leverage their way up. But we'll have fun seeing how it works. But anyways, that's it. So, all the projects are done, all the boxes are ready, all I need is some heat and some bees. So, this is G. Wooster, that's G-W-O-O-S-T-E-R, signing off.